A lot of things have happened during this quarantine, this pandemic period. It's changed the world in many ways. One of the things that it's changed is that it's overly inflated people's sense of self-worth. I think people like me think that we need to go on video on the YouTube and give every little thought that we have and give our opinions on everything, as I've done many times. It's very important to speak on the internet. But today I'm going to tell you, as you can read in the title, how to quit smoking in 7,300 steps. More specifically, I'm not going to really tell you, that's up to you. I'm going to tell you how I did it. If you do a little bit of math, you'll find that 7,300, it actually refers to the number of days. That's 20 years. Today is my 20-year anniversary of no smoking. I quit smoking in April. Actually, it was 20 years ago yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do this video yesterday. But I quit smoking on April 16th, 2001. And I'm going to explain how I did it. I don't know if anybody can use this for motivation. I don't know if anybody is going to have some questions answered. I don't know how many people are even going to watch this, but I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to be very long-winded. So I'm going to give you my history with smoking. I started smoking, this is so bad to think about now, but I guess the first time I smoked, I remember it very well. I lived in Toronto, in Scarborough in Toronto, and I had a friend, this guy called Vince Farrell. I've talked about him before in some other videos that I've done, who influenced my musical choice in life. He was an Iron Maiden fan, and he had The Number of the Beast, and I got into that from him. I also picked up smoking from him. He lived across the street from me, and he was a year or two older than me, and I used to go to his house. We used to listen to music and whatever else you did when you were 12 years old. And one of the other things we did was smoke cigarettes. Both of his parents smoked. Both of my parents did smoke too. And I remember his parents, at least his mother maybe, smoked a brand of cigarettes called Vantage. And I was at his house once and there was nobody home, and we tried smoking a cigarette, and we did. I thought it was disgusting, as I'm sure every single smoker in the world can attest. The first cigarette is awful and makes you wonder why you continue to do it, but you do. So I smoked a little bit when I was 11 or 12. I hope my mother doesn't see this video. But I think that it was the time that I started smoking regularly, that I became a regular smoker, was in 1984. I was 14 years old. I remember very, very well. I saw, everything relates to music. I saw Iron Maiden, the aforementioned Iron Maiden. I went to their concert it was on November 30th, 1984, and I was smoking then. And I remember the next day, I had a pack of cigarettes in the inside pocket of my jacket. And I was out and I came back to my house. And I remember my parents or my mother was there, like in the living room or something, and I threw my jacket kind of on the floor or across the chair or something. And the pack of cigarettes came flying out of the inside pocket. And I was like George Costanza in the episode with little Jerry, tamales, stop the fight. It was like slow motion. No, my cigarettes. And my mother in slow motion turned to look, and we probably both had a look of horror on our faces. So I remember buying packs of cigarettes when I was 14 in 1984. And then I had to keep it a secret then. I think I told my mother at the time, it was first pack of cigarettes I've ever bought, which obviously wasn't true. And I think I told her, I'm never going to smoke again, which was also not true. I continued to smoke from the time I was 14 through high school. It's amazing to think that in high school, we're allowed to smoke. It's just insane to think of that now. Not only were we allowed to smoke, they encouraged us to smoke. In my high school, I went to Sir Oliver Mowat High School in Scarborough. And I guess all high schools were like this at the time. They had in the back of the school, they had an area. It was called the smoking area. They actually made a special area just for people to go outside and smoke. These are people in high school, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. Incredible. And it was a big area, and you would go out there on your break, like between classes or something, or after school, before school. It was kind of a social thing. and you would smoke. And there would be, I don't know, 100, 200 people back then out smoking. And you smoked in the winter, and you smoked in the summer, and it was terrible. But amazing to think that you could smoke in high school. So I smoked all through high school. And then I was 18 when I finally, I could only smoke really at school, which is amazing, again, to think that you could do something in the open in school, something that was kind of secretive in your life. To do it openly, you had to go to school to do it. So it was still a secret to my parents, I guess, that I smoked. Maybe they suspected it. And you know, you used to find excuses to go out with your friends, and you would smoke. And I don't think I ever smoked in the house. Maybe even when my parents were out, I don't know if I ever went to the bathroom and opened the window and smoked. I don't know. But so I would find any excuse to go out with my friends or to go anywhere and smoke. We used to go play pool, and we would smoke at the pool hall when you could smoke everywhere. You'd smoke in restaurants. And I guess you kind of hope that your parents would never, you know, if I was eating at McDonald's with my friend, you maybe in the back of your head you had the idea that your parents were going to come in, or your parents' friends, and you know, somebody was going to tell your parents that you were smoking. So I was 18 when I finally told my parents. I said, you know what, I still smoke. So let's just get it out in the open, and I'm going to smoke in front of you. So I did. Now, by that point, I was, once that opened up the doors for me to not be sneaky about it, I was smoking about a pack a day. Now, in Canada, and maybe some other countries too back then, I don't know how it is now, because it's been 20 years since I quit smoking. Cigarettes, you could buy them in packs of 20 and 15. The 20 was called a small pack, and 20 and 25. 25 was small, 25 was large. And then also there were three sizes. There were the 100 milliliters that were really long for ladies to smoke, I guess. And then you had the king, what were called king size, which were, I guess, like compared to American, they were like standard. And then they had regular, which were a little bit shorter. And they were the same price, but I always smoked. De Maurier was my brand. Back then when I was young, you would smoke whatever you could get. Sometimes you smoked the cheapest ones, or whatever your friends had, you would bum a cigarette from them. And I'm going to get to how I quit, but I'm just giving you the whole story. And so I used to, my favorite, the brand of cigarettes that made my mouth water, that got me hooked, was De Maurier Large Regular. So it was 25 cigarettes, regular cigarettes. And people asked me, I remember my friend who smoked king size, he said, they're the same size. Why don't you smoke king size? You get more. And I don't know, they just tasted better. They were just better. Anyway, now there were also, if anybody remembers this from Toronto or from Canada, maybe in 85, 86, around there was a brand of cigarettes called Tempo. They came in it was a blue pack with orange, it looked like kind of a neon sign, I think, something like that, orange writing, something like that. And they were really cheap. You could get a pack of Tempo for, I don't know how much a pack of regular cigarettes was. Let's say maybe $3 or $2.80, something like that. And a pack of Tempo was maybe $1.80, $1.90, $2, something like that. So sometimes I bought Tempo too. And all my friends in high school smoked. It was normal that kids smoked back then. Very different. So I was up to smoking a pack a day. Now that was a pack when you consider 20 as a pack. I was smoking probably about 20 cigarettes a day for the next, from the time I quit. I was 31 when I quit in 2001. So from the time I was like 17, 18, I guess, I was pretty much smoking a pack a day for, what was that? I guess 16, 15 years, something like that. I don't know how many cigarettes that comes out to, a couple of 100,000, I guess, which is insane to think how much money I spent on cigarettes and didn't get anything out of it. And now here's where I get to the quitting point. And I had never tried to quit before. I did quit on my first attempt, as I think everybody should if you're serious about it. The reason, now this is my opinion, I think the reason why a lot of people fail in their effort to quit is because they're not prepared for it. They just think, okay, it's New Year's is coming up, so I need a resolution. Oh, go to the gym? Nah, I don't want to go to the gym. Lose weight? Nah, I like eating. I'm going to quit smoking. And they have no plan, they have no thought, and they quit maybe for a day, maybe not even. And that that doesn't work. You need a plan, which I'm going to talk about. Maybe some people they wean themselves off. Maybe if they smoke 20 cigarettes a day, they go down to 15 a day for a couple of months, and then they get down to 10 a day. And I don't know if that works. It didn't work for me. I thought for me the best way was, I thought, you know what, I'm going to just quit. I'm going to just stop. And so it was in, I guess it was in October or maybe November 2001 where I thought, okay, I'm going to quit. And I went to the doctor, and he prescribed, I can't remember the name of it was a medicine that was meant to help you quit smoking. I don't know if it controlled the cravings or what it did, but it was actually technically, I think it was some kind of antidepressant, but it helped people to quit smoking. I can't remember what it's called. It was very famous. I don't even know if it's still around. So he prescribed that to me, and I took it for a day or a couple days or a week or something. I had a horrible, horrible reaction to it. My face swole up like crazy. My lips were like a catcher's mitt. I think my cheeks, my eyes got puffy. My face became numb. I couldn't speak. I remember I had to take a few days off work. And I think I went back to the doctor. He had to give me some other medicine to my cat is going crazy, to counteract the effects of this medicine I was taking. So I thought, well, that's not going to work. So what am I going to do? And I thought, okay, well, I guess then I'll quit smoking. But then I thought, you know what? This was in November, and I thought, Christmas was coming up. Christmas is just a month later. And Christmas, not just Christmas, but all of December, you go to Christmas parties, and it's a very social time of year, and you're drinking beer or drinking alcohol, whatever. You have all these triggers. There's this socializing. I thought, it's not a good time, to have this temptation to smoke, during Christmas when the temptation would be very high. So I thought, okay, well, I'll quit in January. But then I was going to visit a friend of mine in New York, a friend of mine from high school, Mark Richter. Hello, Mark, if you watch this. He had moved to New York City, and I had booked a flight to go visit him in Manhattan in February 2001. No, did I say, yeah, it was November 2000 when I first thought about quitting smoking. So it was January, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to quit now and maybe I was making excuses. It turned out that it worked in the end. So I thought, because I'm going to visit New York, and we're going to go to bars and clubs, and I want to smoke, and I don't want to have these feel like I'm not having a good time because I'm craving cigarettes. So I thought, well, February's no good. So I went to New York and I smoked it up like crazy. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll quit when I get back from New York. But now I had planned another trip to go to Montreal with my brother. We were going to drive from, we lived in Toronto, or actually west of Toronto. We lived there, and we were going to drive to Montreal for a weekend or a couple of days. We were going to go see a Montreal Canadiens game. And I thought, again, I want to enjoy it. I want to, you have these, as I said, triggers. And I think a lot of people, smoking and driving was a great combination. Smoking and playing video games was a great combination. Smoking and drinking was a great combination. So I thought, if I'm going to drive 4 or 5 hours to Montreal, I want to enjoy it. I'm going to go to Montreal. I want to drink some beer and, really enjoy it. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to just quit on when I come back from Montreal. I had nothing planned after that. So I got back from Montreal. Maybe it was on a weekend. I thought, okay, I gave myself that week. We got back from Montreal on a Sunday. I think it was Masters, the Sunday of the Masters. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna smoke as normal during the next week, and then I'm gonna quit. I had planned to quit on Monday. For me, it's always better. I'm a very organized person, and I like to, start things at a certain time or a certain date. And for me, it just helped to organize my life. There was no real reason for it, so I thought Monday is a good day to quit because it's the start of a new week. So I smoked as normal during that week. My God, this is long. And so I kind of planned it. Maybe I smoked a little bit more or a little bit less on the Sunday, which turned out to be my last day as a smoker, because I wanted to finish a pack on Sunday night. I thought I didn't want to wake up Monday morning and have 1 cigarette left or 2 cigarettes left, and I didn't want to throw them in the garbage. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna. As I got into maybe the last couple of days, I thought, okay, I'm gonna budget my cigarettes So I smoked the last one before I go to bed on Sunday. So I went to bed on, I smoked the last cigarette of the pack. I should have kept the pack. And I smoked my last cigarette. I went to bed. I woke up on Monday, April 16th, and I never smoked again. That's it. And here we are now, 20 years now. And that's all it was. That's all it is just don't smoke. You know, some people have the patch, or they chew, my dad chewed gum, the nicotine gum, to help him quit smoking, and he chewed that gum for years. And other people, they have hypnosis, or they did what I tried to do and have some kind of drug. You know, they go to the doctor and get a prescription. For me, I just thought, I have a very, I guess, a strong will. And when I put my mind to something, I do it. And unfortunately for me, that has never gained me any success. It hasn't gained me any money. It hasn't got me a nice house or a nice car or anything like that, but at least it made me quit smoking. And also lost weight. I've lost 13 kilos, 29 pounds in less than a year since last year, kind of doing the same thing. I just stopped eating crap and started eating healthy. That's all it was. I didn't go to a nutritionist or a dietitian or a doctor, or I didn't watch videos on YouTube for tips. I just thought, okay, I'm gonna eat better. Anyway, so getting back to the smoking, it worked for me, and I thought, now I did tell myself, in all these months that I mentally prepared, I told myself, don't smoke. Once I reach April 16th, which I had set that date maybe a month or two in advance. So I think the mental preparation helped me. And I thought, no matter what, I was telling myself, don't have a cigarette. It doesn't matter if if my boss, you know, gets mad at me, or if I had a fight with my girlfriend, or if I had stuck in traffic, or if, you know, there's some stress or something like that. If I'm at a bar and all my friends are smoking, no matter what, don't smoke. And that's what I did. That's all it is. Anytime I just thought, if you, instead of putting a cigarette in your mouth and lighting and smoking it, just don't do that. That's all it is. And it's actually, I mean, it was very easy. There was no weaning, it wasn't gradual. It was just cold turkey. And people say, you know, I've talked to people about this over the years, and I've seen comments online or seen, you know, videos, you know, anywhere, and people say, oh, I could never do that. And yeah, you can. I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker, but you can. Just make a decision and stick with it. Again, it's just like eating. If you want to lose weight, instead of eating ice cream, eat a banana. Instead of eating pizza, eat fish and salad. And instead of putting a cigarette in your mouth, don't. And I had a conversation once with a friend back in Canada. It was actually my sister's friend. And this was sometime after I smoked. I don't know if it was a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And she was a smoker. And I think she still is. And she told me, she said, oh, I could never do that. She asked me, how did you quit? And I told her just this long story that I'm explaining on this video. And I told her, and she said, oh, I could never do that. She said, I remember she said, I can't imagine life as a non-smoker. And I guess that's what you have to do, is you have to visualize, you have to mentally prepare for your life as a non-smoker. And she said, oh, I can't imagine driving and not having a cigarette, or waking up in the morning and not, let me get my cat out of here, or not, you know, waking up in the morning and not starting my day with a cigarette, which is crazy to think. But that's how you do it. That's how I did it. And my cat doesn't smoke, but I'm gonna show her here. And obviously, best decision I've ever made in my life. When I think if I had continued down that path, smoking 20 cigarettes a day for the last 20 years, how much money, you know, that would have spent. And cigarettes now are insanely expensive. Even in Mexico, they've gone up a lot over the last couple of years, I know. I'm an avid hiker and walker. I probably couldn't do those, or at least, you know, not to the extent that I do them. And something else that people have asked me, a lot of people, they've asked me, why did you quit? Which I think is kind of a strange question. A better question would be, why did you start in the first place? Um, you start because you're a teenager, and back then, I guess it was cool to smoke. I don't know why anybody would start smoking now, teenagers or anybody. But yeah, why would you quit? Like my answer is, well, why wouldn't I? Why would I continue to do something that, if you talk about the bad things about smoking, well, like I said, it's very expensive. Two, it's obviously incredibly harmful to your health. Not just all the possibilities of cancer, lung cancer, tongue cancer, all kinds of oral cancer. Turns your teeth yellow, turns your fingers yellow. It makes you stink like cigarette smoke. It makes your hair smell. My parents, I remember in their house, they had like blinds up like this, and when they got new blinds or they were painting or something, and when they removed the blinds, you can't believe the huge yellow stain from all the years of smoke and nicotine and chemicals, getting into the paint. What else? There's so many bad things about smoking. Also, very, very, now more than ever, back then when I first started smoking, it wasn't as bad. Smoking is very, very difficult. In Canada now, even I think by the time I quit, you can't really smoke anywhere. I think in Canada now, really the only place you can smoke is like inside your own house, and I guess just walking down the street. I know for sure you can't smoke in, even when I still smoked, you couldn't smoke in malls. You had to go outside. Now, not only do you have to go outside, I think you have to go like 15 or 20 meters outside, because they don't want the smokers standing by the door. I remember smoking in banks. I distinctly remember going into banks when they had the lines, and they actually had ashtrays up at the teller on the counter. They had ashtrays. They had ashtrays in the lines. So you would stand here and smoke while you were waiting in line. The first plane trip I ever took in 1989, I went to California with some friends. I was 19. We were smoking on the plane. That was the only plane ride I ever had that we smoked. You could smoke in malls. I don't remember ever being allowed to smoke inside stores in a mall, but you could smoke in the corridor, the main hallways of the malls. You could smoke. You could smoke at work. I think every place that I worked, they had a smoke room. You can't smoke anywhere at work now. Also, I had a collapsed lung in 1993 that I could have died from. I was in the hospital for, I don't know, a week or something. And I had a tube. I had surgery, and I had a tube sticking out of my lung. And this was in the winter. This was the week of Christmas. I spent Christmas. I think I went in on the hospital on December 22nd or 21st or something, and I was in there for like a week. So I spent Christmas in the hospital. And I remember, so it's cold in Canada in December, and I remember going outside with my tube, which was attached to a box that collected all the fluid that was collecting in my chest cavity, going outside and smoking. Stupid. That's how crazy you are when you smoke. You're a stupid person when you smoke. And really, probably the stupidest thing that you can do in your life as a habit, people make stupid decisions all the time, many different things. But as part of your daily life, there's nothing you can do that's stupider than smoking. I could even understand people, smoking weed or doing drugs or drinking. Though those are also unhealthy, and they're expensive, and they have their own problems. But at least you can say, well, but you're altering your mind. You have a good time when you're drunk, or you have a lot of fun when you're smoking weed. Smoking cigarettes doesn't change anything. It doesn't alter anything. And some people will make the argument, well, cigarettes relieve stress. When you feel stress, you have a cigarette and you feel better. That's bullshit. I can tell you, as a holier than thou reformed smoker, that's just not true. I think that's all in your head. You think it makes you feel better, but it doesn't. I think that's all in your head. There's no reason why having a cigarette would make you feel better. That's what I think. Maybe some doctors would say differently. But for me, I thought that at the time as a smoker, but looking back on it, no, it's not true. So yeah, asking why I quit smoking is like asking a guy that weighs 400 pounds, why did you go on a diet? It should be pretty obvious. So I quit smoking for all those reasons. There's not one good thing about smoking. And so now it's been 20 years, and I think they say something like for each year that you smoke, it takes 1 year for your body to recover to get all the chemicals and tar and nicotine and everything out of your body. I'm not sure that's right, but I passed a milestone, I guess, when I hit my 17 years of quitting smoking, because then I was a non-smoker for as long as I was a smoker. But now 20 years, obviously I'm never going to smoke again. If I ever smoke again, I'm the stupidest person in the world. So after 20 years, hopefully it'll only be another year or two before the cravings go away. And believe it or not, I still do. I'm getting off topic here, but so what? I still do. I can't say I get cravings, but I do have dreams about smoking, which apparently is very normal. Some time after I quit, maybe 6 months, I was out with my uncle, and we were talking about that, and he was a smoker, and he asked me. He said, "Have you had dreams about smoking?" I said, "Yeah. How do you know?" And he said that's one of the not a side effect, I guess, but one of the things that happens when you quit smoking. It gets into your subconscious. And I still do, maybe once or twice a year, I have a dream about smoking, and they're really weird. It's hard to describe dreams, but what happens in the dream is, in the dream, I'm a non-smoker, just like I am in real life. But somebody in the dream convinces me to smoke, or I make a decision to smoke, and I think, no, I can do it. I can smoke this one time. And then also in the dream, I end up being a regular smoker again. I'm back to smoking a pack a day, and I'm going, oh my God, why am I so stupid? Why did I start again? So maybe that's my subconscious warning me, saying, don't be stupid. So that's it. 20 years of non-smoking. To me, I almost consider myself not even like a non-smoker or a reform smoker, almost just like, I almost can't even remember that I smoked. But I did enjoy it at the time. But I could never have another cigarette, because I'm sure if I made an excuse to have one, I would be going to OXXO over here and buying a pack every day. So if you want to quit smoking, do whatever you like. I'm saying what worked for me was just stopping. People call it cold turkey, whatever you want to call it. It worked for me. Just remember, don't put a cigarette in your mouth and light it. Don't smoke. That's it. Quit smoking.